On today's video, we're going to be running some PCB samples for a customer, and the first thing we're going to do is head over to the other shop, grind them up through one of our 16x12 hammer mills, get them nice and fine. We're going to liberate all the metals from the plastic and the fiberglass. Then we'll come back over here and we'll run them on our 4x8 shaker table to separate out the valuable metals from the plastic and the waste. We're going to feed the whole boards into the throat of the hammer mill here. We're going to grind up with the swinging hammers on our hammer mill, and we have a 1-inch slotted screen here. And all that material is going to come out the bottom. It's going to go up this conveyor belt under a cross belt magnet. It'll pull off the steel, but we're going to actually put the steel back into the sample to run it through our hammer mill, because there's some precious metals that are attached to some of the magnetic components. So we're going to save everything, but anything that's not magnetic is going to come up here, and we're just going to catch it here in this garbage can, and then we'll take it over and we'll run our sample on our shaker table. This is a 16-inch by 12-inch hammer mill. It's got a rotor on this shaft here that spins around in this case. A bunch of hammers attached to the rotor, and they just beat anything that goes down the chute here. There's a screen that goes all the way 180 degrees along the bottom of the mill here. And this screen has 1.2 millimeter slots that are about 1 inch long. And the whole screen's covered in those. And then it comes down this chute onto one of our 4-foot by 8-foot shaker tables. Before we take a look at the shaker table, I wanted to plug our brand new YouTube channel called Mount Baker Mining Equipment. It is all equipment all the time. We're doing recycling, gold, PCBs, scrap metal. Go check out our new channel. I'll put a link right in the description below. We have our samples all ground up. Now we're going to run them on our 4x8 shaker table. And this machine is a huge density separator, using just water to separate the dense and valuable metals from the plastic and fiberglass that made up most of the boards. This machine runs with a 1/2-horse electric motor, a couple of water bars. We've tried to make all the parts really easy and simple to source. It's valves for adjustments, hoses, PVC water bars, so everything's really easy to adjust, to change, to fix if something breaks. But the way this machine works is there are springs underneath the shaker table that bounce the heavy material across the black mat here. The grooves in the shaker table top will capture all of the valuable metals such as copper and tin and gold and silver, and it will move everything valuable across the shaker table this way underneath this water bar and down into the number 1 and number 2 concentrates. Now there's a couple of little things I'll talk about here about why our shaker table is different and unique from other shaker tables. We have grooves rather than riffles, and we have built in a little ramp into our shaker table. It starts about here, and the shaker table actually goes uphill until right about here at the 4 inches from the end of these grooves, and then there's another flat plane. And what this does is the light material, even if it gets in the grooves, it can't go up the ramp. Once the dense and valuable metals settle down into the grooves, they can actually work their way up the ramp all the way to the end of the grooves, where they come out on what we call the cleaning plane. And any residual plastic or any little bits of material that made it up there will get washed away back down into the number 3 and number 4, and only the most valuable and high density materials will make it down into the number 1 and number 2. This machine is really simple to operate and set up. It's sitting just in the gravel here. It's weighted down a little bit, so it doesn't need a concrete pad to be bolted down to. It uses about 7 to 10 US gallons per minute, and we're gonna recirculate the water over and over again once it gets down into this catch basin here. All the tailings, the number 4 and the number 3 plastic and light stuff is going to come down here into the tailings pond. And again, we're going to recirculate that water to reuse it over and over again, so nothing will get discharged into the environment. And the number 1 and the number 2 valuable metals will come out in these little buckets here that we can send back to the customer, and they can analyze their sample. Now you can see right away here that the fiberglass washes away fairly quickly and works its way down mostly into the number 3 by just set the table up, and this is the first run on this table. So we might need to do a little adjustment between A and B, but we'll see. Right now it looks like it's working pretty good. Now all the metals here come across, and just like I said earlier, they're working their way up the cleaning plane. You're getting mostly clean metals here and fiberglass down here. One of the reasons why the fiberglass is all working its way down into the number 3 is because I'm not feeding it fast enough. I don't have enough sample to get it on the table fast enough, so it's just come on its way. It's just worked its way over to the cleaning plane here, the ramp, and it's working its way down to the number 3, and that's fine. You're getting really, really good separation between the metals and the plastic. So typically what we see with PCBs is we see a copper line. There's actually a lot of gray material in here, which might be a lot of solder, but this very, very fine gray line, and then right at the leading edge of that, there's little yellow flecks. That's the gold that's more dense than the tin solder, and it's bouncing its way right to the head of the little sandbar here that we're making with our metals. And so the gold is right out here in front. You have the tin solder line right behind it, and then your other base metals coming down and cleaning into the number 1. So it's working really, really well. I've set the splitter on the shaker table here to take a little bit of the green fiberglass into the number 3, but a lot of the copper, because there's so much metal on the table, is going to go down to the number 3. So I want to take a little bit of fiberglass into the number 3 so we don't miss any copper, and then everything into number 4 will be pretty much fiberglass. But it's just, look at all the metal on the table. The number 1, we got 2 pints worth of material from our computers. And this is a lot grayer. There's not as much copper. It's a lot more tin silver solder. There's some, see if I can clean it for you, little pins, gold plated stuff. Gold plated pins. So the number 1 is where the precious metals and most of the precious metal value went. The number 2 is where a lot of the base metal value went. The number 2 is pretty much pure copper. There's a little bit of blue and green board still attached, but I can tell you just by the weight, it's mostly metal. And you can tell by the color it's mostly copper with probably some tin in there. There was so much metal in the sample that we captured a bunch in the number 3, and this is going to be kind of a mix. You can tell, kind of high grade it there. There's a bunch of copper, and you can see there's some green in there as well, but a lot of this number 3 by weight is metal, but there is some green in there. So what you can do with the number 3, again, because this had so much metal in it, and there's still a lot of value in the number 3. If you don't want to sell this as is, you can always rerun it back on the shaker table to upgrade it and clean it up a little bit more. And a lot of guys will do that at the end of the week when they have a 55-gallon drum of this. They can rerun it back on the shaker table. And here is the number 4. That is just pure fiberglass. There's no copper or metal or anything in there. That liberated really, really well and separated all the values into the number 1, number 2, and number 3, and the number 4 is now just waste. And here at the end of the video, I wanted to show you all a complete turnkey PCB system. It's our 16 by 12 hammer mill that we used to grind up the previous sample, but it's mounted up on some concrete blocks with a chute that flows right onto our 4x8 shaker table. So it's a continuous process. You're not handling the material multiple times. You put it in the top in the hammer mill and it flows right down onto the shaker table and separates the metals. So if you guys are interested in any of our products you see on this video, please give us a call or shoot us an email. You can find a lot more information on our website as well. So we look forward to hearing from you guys and hearing more about your project. So as a final thought, a lot of people are very concerned about the water that discharges off the shaker table and how contaminated it might be. Because it's a closed circuit and we recirculate the water over and over again, nothing gets discharged to the environment. And I wanted to bring in and show you here, this barrel is all the tailings, all the number 4, if you will, from us running various samples and all kinds of stuff. And the way that I deal with the water is I leave it out in the sun, let the water evaporate, all the tailings dry out, and then I can just shovel them into a bin and get rid of them that way. So thanks everybody for watching. We'll see you on the next video.